guys, good morning to everyone. It's morning for me, so it's morning for you now. Just came out to the woods, brought my dog, brought Bluey, and we're gonna talk about timing belts. Also, this is a new spot, never really been to. Went to my normal spot, saw a cool road, I'm like, looked on Onyx, I was like, looks like it goes somewhere, and sure enough, it went somewhere. And super cool, really pretty drive, really tight squeeze everywhere. Definitely got a few pinstripes, but definitely worth it. Cool little spot, but just like the rest of Olympic National Forest, so many bugs. Big mosquitoes too. Probably gonna see a few mosquitoes flying around. And they go for my ankles for some reason. They just keep getting me in the ankles. And it's not a good time. Okay guys, so today's easy. Today we're just gonna talk about time belts. I wanna talk about why they're important, are they important, what do they do, and when should you service them, and how do you service them? Yeah, we'll chat about it. I just got time belt done on Bluey, so I figured now would be a great time to make a video about it. Also, ton of bugs, so excuse me for my twitching as normal. You know I hate that, but bugs suck. I'm not gonna do a bug counter this time. But these mosquitoes are bigger than my daughter. Honestly, I'm worried they're gonna take my dog and fly away. Okay, so what is a timing belt? Well, a timing belt really is going to be, it started when King actually...
Sorry about that, guy. I have no idea what he's talking about. Today what we're going to be talking about is a timing belt and the timing belt assembly. Is it important? Well, what is it? What does it do? How often should I service this thing? And how much does it cost? So to understand what a timing belt does, you kind of have to understand the basics of what an engine does. So basically, a combustion engine is a series of explosions within these containers that make the system go. So with that being said, the timing is sometimes, well, always, very important aspect of that. It basically makes sure that everything is happening at the proper ratio and the proper speed, at the proper timing to run a car. There's gonna be two different types of engines. There's gonna be an interfering engine and a non-interfering engine. An interfering engine is exactly what it sounds like. It basically means that something's interfering, right? So that means that when a piston's going, when a piston's out, the piston's in, if they were to switch and both go in or both go out, they have the chance of running into each other or running into another piston or running into something else like a valve cover. So that is an interfering engine. A non-interfering engine just means they don't collide. They have no way of, not that they don't collide, that they don't have a chance of colliding unless like your engine crumbles. Non-interfering engines, they're not in the way of each other. Interfering engines, pistons and valve covers and everything else inside has a chance of interfering with each other if timed incorrectly. So that's where timing belts come in. So a timing belt, what it does is it's basically just a belt along a pulley system that controls your crankshafts and controls different things within your engine's timing system to make sure that everything is timed correctly. So, is it important? Yes, especially if you have an interfering engine. A GX470 is an interfering engine. So, that is very important because if belt breaks and your timing is just a little off, you can have pistons colliding and it's not a good time. Usually it will lead to a hole in your block. It's not a good time. Sometimes there's been a few, I've seen them in the Sequoia groups, there's been a few times where nothing happened and they just replaced the belt and they were good to go. But 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. Usually it is going to be a catastrophic engine failure, so it is very scary. So make sure you're on top of it. Here's the thing is it's not very cheap. It's not like your standard oil change or doing your brakes because it is a lot more intensive than just changing your oil. So let's talk about what it actually means to do it and could you do it yourself and should you do it yourself? So if you're watching this and you're wondering if you could do your timing belt, I can't answer that, but I can tell you I was gonna do it and I decided not to. It is one of the most important parts of your engine, and while you can do it yourself, it is pretty straightforward. It's a longer process. It's about a full day's worth of work and a lot of taking things out of your engine, but it is important. If you don't get your timing right, if you don't match everything right to the right specs and the right spots, it could mean catastrophic failure when you first try to turn over that engine. So it is a little nerve-wracking, so I decided not to do it. I decided to pay because it wasn't something I wanted to risk. But you could do it yourself, but it doesn't involve just the belt. So depending on how they look, once they pull everything open and they look at the parts and they kind of see what shape they're in, Some things might get replaced more than others, but for the most part, you're looking at your timing belt, your water pump, and honestly your temperature. There's a little temperature gauge in there that you usually replace because you have to pop it open and rip it out anyways. It's just something you might as well do at the same time. And if you're doing it yourself, you could also rip out your alternator, put a new alternator in if you feel like you need one, because that's also in the way. It's not a cheap process. It usually takes a shop. I mean, it took the shop that I dropped my GX off at like 6 hours. So it's not a quick and easy thing to do. It does take a little bit, and experience does help. It is kind of an expensive maintenance, if that makes sense. Like, usually your scheduled maintenances aren't that bad, but the time belt is kind of a doozy at $1,000. Depending on where you live, it could be more, could be less. If you're somewhere that has lower prices for everything, it's probably cheaper. If you're somewhere like Washington, I ended up paying like $1,300 because taxes were like $200 because taxes. But timing belts are incredibly important. It's definitely something you should look into. Make sure you're up to date. Usually there's a little sticker on your kind of the time belt cover, so if you need to look at it, you can actually rip off your air hose, take a look in there, and see what your timing belt, when it was last maintenance, or when it was last maintenance, I guess is the word. When it was last serviced, when it was last serviced. Make sure you're up to date. Toyota recommends anywhere between, I think it's 60,000 to 90,000 miles. So I recommend, if you're in a hotter climate like Arizona, Texas, somewhere like that, I would recommend replacing every 60,000 miles, 60,000, 70,000 miles. And then if you're somewhere like Washington, California, somewhere it's a little bit cooler, you should be fine at 90,000. Yes, guys, super important. Time belts are the one thing you really hope doesn't break. If that breaks, your entire engine is toast. And right now, to use these aren't easy to find. So be careful out there, guys. But yeah, let's I think that's it. So we're gonna go ahead and go back to the idiot in the forest.
So cinematic universe, so that's pretty cool. So anyways, hopefully that explains everything. I thought I went pretty in depth, but hopefully that explains everything you guys need to know about timing belts, why they're important, what they do. And yeah, guys, but I think that wraps it up for this video. As much as I'd love to stay out here and get attacked by bugs, I'm hungry and I want breakfast. More stuff is coming though, guys. Don't worry, more videos. I have a few videos planned already, so I'm gonna start filming one here shortly. And yeah, cool videos coming. Some stuff about GXs. Want to help out some of you newbies that have GXs and get to know your vehicle a little better. So that'll be a fun one. I think I'm gonna head out of here, guys. I'm gonna write a blog post all about what I talked about today. So make sure to check that out. Link in the bio. Hit me up on Instagram if you have any questions. If you want to say what's up, ask me about whatever. Talk to me. I don't know. Send me cool pictures of dogs. Dogs are cool. I'm gonna clean up some trash around here and then get the hell out of here. So, see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe, do all the cool YouTube stuff, but I'm gonna head out of here. So, see you later. Dude.